I guess sort of my moment, I was trying to think of one, and I remembered back in 8th grade reading To Kill a Mockingbird and just thinking, reading this sort of beautiful, moving story and having this conviction that I think only sort of children and young people have, that the way to go about sort of pursuing justice and trying to do something that made a difference in the world was going into law and going into politics. And eventually I made it to Georgetown. I was pre-law. I was a government major, and I was so very convinced that was the way to go. But throughout high school and throughout my courses, I just sort of fallen in love with literature. But it wasn't until sort of getting into the world of critical theory and getting into feminist and queer critical theory, and sort of realizing that there were ways to think about justice and helping to make sort of different paths available to people that weren't just politics, weren't just law. And there's a sort of beautiful quote from Adrienne Rich that I wrote down in case I couldn't remember it, but that I think is sort of put into words in a far more moving way than I ever could. She talks about being in a library as a child, and she says, "I came to believe a child's belief, but also a poet's." And I would say also probably those of us who dedicate our lives to the humanities and to literature, that language, writing, those pages of print could teach me how to live, could tell me what was possible. And I think for me it was that sort of question of what was possible and the worlds of possibility that literature opens up that sort of encapsulate to me what the humanities can be.